That's annoying as shit. I don't know. I have no idea what I was talking about. Well, I know what I was talking about, but I didn't know that the video stopped. Maybe that was a sign from Hashem. Maybe that was a sign from Hashem that you don't need to put that part of the conversation up there. Where the fuck was I? It was 45 minutes in. God, I don't know how long ago that was that this thing stopped. That's a pain in the ass with this phone. Well, you know what? It's actually, this too is for the best. So what's the plan for the rest of the day? The rest of the day, we're going to finish recording this. So we got like another hour left on this. And then go back and continue writing more because I have to get this book rewritten by the end of the month. And I don't mean by the end of the month October. I mean by the end of the month of Marsheven. Which is the day after the Scorpio new moon, which is in 2.5 weeks. So I got 2.5 weeks to get the last. What was I saying? I got about like 59 pages left, maybe. So I got 2.5 weeks to do that. If I get done sooner, that's perfect. But I tasked myself that I have to at least be on the second book by the time of the new moon. Because I want this next month. I don't know what the third month of the Jewish calendar is, but that third month, I have to be on phase 2 of this project. Phase 1 is rewriting this old book, and we're doing fine. We're doing a lot better than I thought. I thought it was going to take like maybe 2 months, but originally I thought it was going to take a couple days, but there's 4,500 words in there. Like it's got some weight to it. Not to mention the fact that it's not like I'm just rewriting a book that I read somewhere. I'm rewriting a book that I wrote about my life, about one of the most challenging times in my life. So I thank you, Hashem. So the mission now is that's phase 1. Phase 2 is to start going through the other piles because I got 5 piles of books. 5 piles of like 10 to 13 books. Each pile represents one year of the Hebrew calendar. It's hard to explain. So the Hebrew calendar is luni-solar based, meaning that it's based on lunar and solar cycles, with more of an emphasis on the lunar cycle. So there's 12 months typically. There's 12 months of the Hebrew year. Each month is the length of one lunar cycle. It's from new moon to new moon, basically. It's about a day or two after. Every month starts a day or two after the new moon. But each month ends on the new moon. Or the day after. Every couple years, like every 2 to 3 years, there's a leap year which adds a 13th month. That 13th month accommodates for the 13th lunar cycle. Because of the length of time it takes for the sun to go around the earth, we only get like 12 and a quarter lunar cycles. 12 and a half. So that 13th one isn't always accommodated for. But over the course of 19 years, 7 of those years are leap years, and they have a 13th month added to them. And then by the time you get then after the 19th year, once the cycle starts all over again, then everything kind of resets itself. It's called a metonic cycle. It's based on the metonic cycle of the moon. Which there's not much emphasis. I don't think many people know about the metonic cycle. But I mean, if you're not using it, then there's no reason to know about it because it doesn't serve you at all. Because what does that mean? The moon cycles repeat themselves every 19 years? What are you talking about? They just go around the Earth. Yeah, but the positioning around the Earth is what's taken into consideration. So in Western astrology, you have all the planets, but if you take all the planets out, just focus on the moon, we now call it moonology. Because the moon is the one body that we all believe, we can all agree, orbits the Earth. So Western astrology isn't based on the stars, the placement of the stars. It's based on the solar. Western astrology is a solar lunar calendar with more emphasis on the solar cycles. So the months of the months that the zodiac signs represent are the months within each season, if that makes sense. Right? So fall begins at the fall equinox. That's Libra, Scorpio, Sagittarius. Those 3 months. Sagittarius ends and Capricorn begins on the winter solstice. Then you have Capricorn, Aquarius, and Pisces. Pisces ends and Aries begins at the spring equinox. Then you have Aries, Taurus, and Gemini. And Gemini ends where Cancer begins, which is on the day of the summer solstice. And then you have Cancer, Leo, and Virgo. And Virgo ends where Libra begins, which is at the fall equinox. At the same time, so now we have a 360-degree circle, which is divided into 12 30-degree signs. The moon, as it goes around, every minute of every single day, the moon moves a little bit more and more around the Earth. And we can track where it is at any particular time by looking at a chart and seeing, oh, today, I'm not gonna lie, I like, what the hell's her name? Kim Petras. I like her. So we pull up a trusty chart, and right now, right this second, the moon is stationed at 6 degrees and 36 minutes Pisces. In 19 years, yeah, let's say, today's 2023. Every year, on this day, right? What's today? The 23rd or the 24th? Today's the 24th. On October 24th, what is that? Shit, it doesn't go that far, but we can go backwards 19 years. 2004. Let's say. What do you say? 6 degrees, right? Ho! All right. Well, it's a little bit off, but We're at 6 degrees today, but in 19 years, 19 years ago, at this exact moment, the moon was at 21 degrees Pisces. A 15-degree differential. So what is that? That's like 4 hours. So like 4 hours ago, the moon was exactly where it is right now. It moves about like, I think it's like, I don't know. Well, it takes 2 to 3 days to move out of a sign, so. So out of 360 degrees, we're off by 15. We're good. By a couple hours. Actually, you know what? Fuck it. Let's just say. And literally, we're looking at 19 years ago to this exact minute. So let's look at the chart. Let's change the time. You don't have to do this. Of course I do. I'm doing this for me. Alright, so that's at 3:31 p.m. October 24, 2004. So now let's fucking wind the clocks back to fucking noon. Let's see where the fucking moon is. Ah. Come on, man. I'm in the middle of the woods. Alright, so 3 hours ago was at 20. Oh, come on, man. What are you doing here? Alright. Why? Because I want to fucking get this right. 3:33. Oh. AM? I don't like that. It's taking a second to update. It's taking longer. Alright, so around midnight on fucking 2004, it was at 13 degrees. Whatever. So it's like a fucking... We're in a range where I accept it. 19 years minus fucking 12 hours. Fucking... 15 hours. 15 hours out of like 19 years. I think that's pretty fucking precise. Where was I going with all that? What was the point of me like even getting on that? Calendar. Oh, phase two of the project. Lunar cycles. So it's hard to explain because this is a new calendar for me, and I don't know why it's working exactly the way that it does, but it just does. So each month represents one aspect of the cycle of the year. So what does that mean? What does that mean? What does that mean? What does that mean? New beginnings. What do the moon cycles represent? Beginnings, middles, and endings. But then there's also the spiritual meanings behind everything. So when I was reviewing my last year, 2002 to 2003, when I was reviewing those journals from Rosh Hashanah all the way to this most previous Rosh Hashanah, I noticed themes mixed into my story that I didn't notice before, because I'm looking at the same story, but but the beginning point. It's like, where do we begin the story? And that's what Am I saying that right? Let's practice saying that. Well, yeah, because you know what this brings me back to? This brings me back to that email that I wrote to investor relations at Hugo Boss when I asked about the lunar cycles, using the lunar cycles to track fiscal trends. Because the idea was, yeah, we're going to be looking at the same data, but we're not looking at the data from the same perspective. We're looking at it from a different, we're shifting the view on it. So we're going to see different trends at different times. And exactly what I explained to Hugo Boss was what I saw with my own story. It's the same year, it's the same time frame, but instead of the beginning point, because usually I start my year at the spring equinox. So instead of starting my year there, we're starting my year at Rosh Hashanah, which is like right around fall, the end of summer, beginning of fall. And by starting it there, like there was very specific events going on that were relevant to the way that the rest of the year went. So what I started to recognize was that when I was observing my story from the perspective of the Hebrew calendar, everything turned into a synchronistic event. It was no longer like, oh, this fucking shit happened or that shit happened. Like, holy shit, that happened then? I didn't even realize that. So it was almost like looking at my life like a movie or even a TV show, because every month at the beginning, at the end of every month, we'd be at a cliffhanger. And it always worked out this way. It was fucking magical to watch this, because every month would end on a cliffhanger, and then once we get back into the new month, then it's like, okay, well now one phase of the story ends, one episode is ending, one season is ending, and now the new season is picking up where the last season left off. It was fucking awesome. So that's what inspired me after I did 2022 to 2023, which was the year of 5783. I realized, because I keep all my journals based on lunar cycles, and the fact that my journals meshed so well with the Hebrew calendar, that's when I was like, all right, this is a match made in hell. So now I'm thinking in my head, like if I'm doing all of last year, if I'm reviewing all of last year, and this is working out like this, what would happen if I did for all of the previous years as well? That could be pretty fucked up looking. But that'll also be a lot of work. And shortly after I had that thought, is when my unemployment went through, after my back tax returns got paid out, and I realized, like, holy shit, I got 6 months. I got like 8 months. Maybe 9. That I could just focus all my time and all my energy on this. So that's when I took all my old books out, added in all of the Hebrew dates. I put in little posty tabs on the important days, which are the new moon, full moon, and quarter moons, and then organize them by year in descending order. This way I can go through all of them all at once. But that left me in a little precarious of a situation, because my first book is in the possession of somebody else who's making it very challenging to get it back. So what I decided was, and what I told her was, you know what, just fucking hold on to it. I'll rewrite it, because I have a backup, just in case. So I've actually been asking Hashem. Thank you, by the way. I forgot I asked you that question. I asked Hashem like 3 weeks ago, like, what was the purpose of me giving Kim that book? Like, what the hell? And now now I can see it. The reason I had to give it to her was so that I could rewrite it. Because by rewriting it, it's putting me, how do I say that? By rewriting it, it's bringing me back to that place where it's not like I could just scan through the words and read it. Like, I have to relive it. Because part of the project part of this project, like I said, I'm just focusing each month. I'm only focusing on 4 days per month. I'm focusing on the quarter moons, the full moons, and the new moons. That's it. Why not just do the whole thing? Because it's cooler that way. It's something you got to experience. Because those 4 days always, those are the highlight reels. And by reading those, the gaps just fill themselves in. So it's just like, okay, all right, perfect. You have to, if you're not used to working with the lunar cycles, like it's a little bit challenging of a concept to like wrap your head around, because technically the moon isn't supposed to do anything, and I'm not saying that the moon is doing anything. It just happens to be synchronistically that my life evolves in conjunction with the lunar cycles. But this isn't new news. This is old news. Just like the lunar cycles are associated with the menstrual cycles. Do you know that women can sync their menstrual cycles with the lunar cycles? But men, we also have cycles too that we have to process. We have emotional cycles, which can be synced up with the moon. And that's what I've been doing over these past, I don't know, consciously over the past like 2.5 years. And I finally feel like I got it down. So now the mission is to see how it correlates with all the other ones, because I didn't know that was a thing. I didn't know it was a thing until a few years back, and that's when I started to go, okay, well, let's start paying attention with my own to see how it works. Because we're not supposed to be stagnant little creatures. We're supposed to evolve, and we're supposed to grow, and we're supposed to like do things and experience things and evolve. That we're not really supposed to be working 9-to-5 jobs and then struggling with our home life because we devote so much time into our work life. My mission is to not balance out my work and home life, but to make my work life my home life, and make my home life my work life, and merge them into one thing, which I have done. Success. Thank you, Hashem. Well, how are you getting money? Unemployment, back tax returns. Everything I did in the past, all of the work that I did in the past, working for other people, is now paying me for what I'm doing right now, which is, I want to say more important, because I wouldn't be where I'm at right now if not for what I did back then. But I can at least look back and go, well, you know, good thing I did all that, because I wouldn't be where I am right now. And I think that's something that, thank you, Hashem, that I need to recognize too, because I'm bitching and complaining about my job in that thing, in that journal, but the only reason, well, no, I never got my tax returns from them. I never got my tax returns from them. And when I reached out to them to get my tax returns, they never got back to me. Yeah, but you could have called. It's all right. It's not like I owe anything. It's all money that's owed to me. So, that's the thing. So, guys, we should probably do 2021 and 2022 as well. That's not a bad idea. I know, but we'll get to it. We'll get to it. I mean, it's not like we're in a fucking rush. So then what's gonna happen? What happens when you're done? When I'm done with phase 2, then we move on to phase 3. What's phase 3? I don't know. Phase 3 is to bring this out into the world. That's when God tells me, go forth. All right, where are we going? Try Israel. Good idea. Next phase, go to Israel. Which is where I belong. Okay, that's the plan. That's the plan. We finished phase 2. Phase 3 is to go to Israel and lay the first stone of the third temple, which I have. And then see what happens. No plans except for that one. That's the plan. And then allow Hashem to bring me everywhere I need to go. But you could die. All right. It's not like I have much to live for out here. I have no lady in my life. I have my son. I haven't seen my son in 5 years. I don't see him popping back up anytime soon. My ex-wife, we don't talk. So it's not like I have anything holding me down. Plus, I have to go to Israel. It's just this is the way. So that's phase 3. Okay. And I don't have to bring the books. So basically, what we're doing is, fuck it, just go all out. So what we're doing is, not only am I learning Torah right now, but I'm also seeing Torah within my books. That's the point. That's why we're using the Hebrew calendar, so I can see Torah playing out throughout my life. Especially over the past 5 years, because once I can get to the end, because right now a lot of this too is a lot of inner child work, inner Derek work, because I'm bringing Hashem with me into these old books to show my old self, show those old aspects of myself that still exist within me, that still are a little bit resistant to everything that's going on, and showing them this is really happening. I know you don't know what's going on right there, but we know what's going on. Oh, maybe that's what we do. There's that goddamn war. That's assuming that the war is going to be over in time. I tried. Well, you know what? I take that back. Sorry, Hashem. I'm sorry. Hashem is the one who's making it all happen. So it's like, trust me that by the time you're ready to go, everything in Israel is going to be all cleared up. So don't even worry about that shit. That's not even your concern at this point. This is somebody else's concern because somebody else has to learn how to wipe their own ass. All right. I get you. I don't know how to speak Hebrew, though. Don't worry about it. You don't need to. We're buying a one-way ticket. Right, because this was the lesson that that was the message that Hashem gave to Abram. Leave the place, leave your birthplace behind, and go forth. All right, world tour. Get the fuck out of the United States. If you want to find God, go to the land where God... that makes sense. Okay. And be prepared for the potentiality that you're never coming back. That's scary. Yeah, but is it though? Do you want to be in New Jersey for the rest of your life? You're not gonna... Look what happened with Abram. Abram couldn't do what he did if he didn't listen to God and let go of the past. Because I saw somebody writing about this morning, about when God told Abram to leave behind the place of his birth and to go forth. And the person was going on about Jews in exile. There's no exile. There's no exile. The reason that God has us scattered about is so that we can spread the word. We're missionaries. Jewish missionaries. This will make a fucking cool ass story, that's for fucking sure. This is going to be the coolest story ever made. You high? No. No, I haven't had pot in... That was the last time I had pot. August 17th. Alright, well, I guess go home and start preparing. Because this is like a big fucking deal now. Thank you, Hashem. Huh. Hey, that's some shit. This is some serious shit. Because it makes all the sense too. Because that should take me about 4. So during the 12 days of reflection, the 12 days leading up to Rosh Hashanah are called the 12 days of reflection. Each day is dedicated to reflecting on 1 month of the year that just passed. So that we're primed for the 10 days of awe, so that we can go back and reflect on what we didn't do, what we did do. Well, that's what the point of the reflection. Because once we have those times dedicated in our mind, and we can see what we did wrong, what we did right, and then we're primed for the days of awe when we have to atone. And also get started early. I love atoning. I love atoning. This year I atoned for Hitler, for the meteor that killed off the dinosaurs. I was atoning for the witch hunters. I even atoned for the Jews for constantly playing victim. We're not victims. We like to play victim for some reason, but... And that's part of the reason for this war. Stop being victims. Own your shit. Thank you, Hashem. I think I need a calzone. So this is what you're doing with your life. Yeah, this seems to be exactly what I'm doing with my life. Holy shit. Alright, well, that's a thing. And the thing is, like, I was thinking about this morning. Why is God only speaking to Abram? And it's not that he is. It's not that he's only talking to Abram. It just, for one reason or another, only Abram is listening to him. Or it just appears that way. See, because we have two souls. There's two halves of the soul. There's the animal soul and then there's the godly soul. Now, Jewish thought goes in that, like, we have to evolve out of the animal soul and into the godly soul, but I don't know if that's necessarily true. I think you're supposed to evolve both. Because you have to evolve the animal into its higher self as well. Right? Because the godly soul is divided into light and dark. But then there's the animal soul. What's the animal soul divided into? Mammal and reptile? Just as much reptile and mammal as we are angel and demon. I can see that. I mean, I already know that. I'm just saying it out loud. It reminds me of a dream I had. I was with my son in Israel. We didn't have a ticket home. I wonder if that'll happen. That'd be interesting. Yeah, but you have food at home. I know, but I really want a calzone. Like, I'm feeling called for a calzone. Maybe with meatballs in it. I think that sounds good. That doesn't sound very kosher. No. No, it doesn't. How can you be a Jew if you're not following Jewish law? Because Jewish law doesn't specifically say you can't eat dairy and meat. What it says is don't cook your goat. Don't boil a baby goat in its mother's milk. That's what it says. It doesn't say don't mix cheese and meat. And it doesn't say don't eat dairy and meat together. It just says don't boil a baby goat in its mother's milk. Which, I mean, we could take it literally. But thank you, Hashem. Hashem tells me that it's not all meant to be taken like at face value like that. What does that mean to you? Well, actually, what that means to me is something completely different. It has nothing to do with food. What it has to do with is, like, don't punish your child because of the mother. That the mother's actions are her own actions, not... Yeah, well, that actually makes sense, especially in my situation. Don't be mad at him because you haven't seen him. Recognize that it's her. She's the one doing it, not him. Although we give him the freedom to make his own choice when it's convenient. And listen, I know that you're still in love with me. That's why you can't have me in your life. Because you're afraid that I'm going to fuck things up for you. At this point, having apologized as many times as I have, and like things have not been resolved. At this point, 5 years later, we still can't resolve this. Come on. What's happening is you're being a bitch. And you want me to lose my shit. And I have nothing to lose my shit over. Listen, you're doing it to him. Like, dude hasn't fucking called my mom in how long? My mom hasn't seen him since 2020. And then even then, well, Derek can't be there. Why? Because I'm sensitive. Thank you, Uncle Al. Surgical meth machine. I'm sensitive. That's what it is. Oh yeah, well that actually makes a lot more sense now. I mean, don't boil the baby goat in its mother's milk. Don't take my frustrations on her out on him. I mean, granted, we're not up to that part of the Tory yet, but I mean, it's probably because that's going to be relevant sooner than later. If when he does come back into my life, not to bust his balls about it, because he is a sensitive guy too, just like me. Hey, we're two sensitive guys. You really getting this calzone? Yeah, I'm getting the calzone. I'm fucking starving. And I want like a big glob of cheese with meatballs. That's why. Alright, this is done.